today I'm going to be transferring everything over from this head to my new head, which is right here. Don't mind the mess in here. I'm not actually transferring much over. Pretty much just the cam chain and tensioner, and then I have to see what my new camshafts look like. Now I need to reuse this cam sprocket, this piece too, and that might be it. This like cam position sensor, I think I need to reuse that as well. So these are T30s that are holding these camshafts down, and there are, I think there's 23 of these. I don't feel like wearing the GoPro on my head right now, so I'm just gonna see if I can do this stuff with one hand. Yeah, they're not too bad. These are all stretch bolts. Like, even getting a good deal on these, it's still like $12 because there's 23 of them. Or you can get an ARP set for like 70 bucks that you can just keep reusing. And I have heard of people reusing these stretch bolts, and a lot of them said that they stripped a couple of them. Just ran in to grab my cams. So here we are. The difficulty here is that the stock cams have these little cutouts that basically tell you when you're at top dead center, because you can't even tighten down the head studs or the head bolts if these are timed incorrectly, because that you need to be able to pass your extension or your socket through that little cutout to be able to tighten down everything down there. So like this one's not aligned correctly, so I wouldn't be able to tighten that down. The difficulty with these aftermarket cams is that there are no markings, or there's no cutout or anything. So I'm either gonna have to carefully look at the stock one and where the lobes are, and then just like try to eyeball it, or I'm gonna have to just let a professional do this. Okay, so I debated just keeping my stock cams and just running my stock cams on the new setup. First thing I'm gonna do is get this new head pulled back off. You need to install a new head gasket. I wish I didn't feel so inclined to pull this head back off, but a bunch of the tape was peeling off, and plus there was all this stuff up here, and there's a small chance that something could have fallen into one of the cylinders, and I just want to play it super safe. Plus I want to make sure that all the ARP head studs are torqued down properly. Okay, so I just pulled up the tightening sequence. So I just need to do the opposite of the tightening sequence. So I'm going to start with number 10 and work my way down 9, 8, 7 down to 1. And if you guys watched my other video when I took my head off, then you already saw this. Okay, so if anyone needs the sequence, here it is. I cannot see the GoPro because it's on my head right now, but hopefully you guys can see that right there. Then you can just pause the video. I'm just gonna grab my little grabber tool so I can grab all those. Okay, so I got all 10 of those out. There we go. Kind of hurts me to replace this. This is like fresh. Okay, so I just loosened up the few studs that were tight in there. Now I should probably throw this one back in. These are all supposed to just be hand tight, so like these should not be like tightened down at all. You're just supposed to thread them in by hand, and that's it. Essentially, it's tight enough for it to not move around in there, but it's not tight enough to actually like really embed the threads. They say for a permanent application you can put anti-seize on here. Everything looks clean on the bottom. It's just a little bit wet. There's some coolant, maybe some oil on there. I got to get that tape out of the way right there. But for the most part, everything looks good. Just got to clean it up a tiny bit. and then tape up all these holes. Okay, the bottom surface here of the head looks pretty clean, and it looks pretty dry now. I got this one from the OE manufacturer L-Ring. It was like $30, which is a lot better than the $60 OEM one. Okay, something doesn't want to go on. Oh, upper cover thing here is getting in the way. Okay, so I'm finally taking all of these cam bolts out so I can get these camshafts out. Okay, here's the last one right here. Let's see if we can pull this cam girdle off. I think it's held in by this piece. Yeah, this piece is holding that. Let's see. Oh, there. Instead of taking this bolt off for the sprocket, I should probably just take this cover with me over to the new head. So to do that, I just need to take this idler pulley off of this one, and then I'm gonna have to take the idler pulley off of this one too. So this guy right here for this pulley, it's a 13 millimeter. These little guys are behind the sprocket. Yeah, they're G30s. Gotta try to get this guy out. Let's just take this chain off completely. Okay, so now it's time to get this guy off right here. Gotta be careful because his head is not torqued down at all. That's weird. This little guy was like really holding tight onto it. On the intake cam, I'm seeing this pretty big spot right here on this one. That one doesn't look good. And on a lot of them, they have like these like heavy wear spots on the corners. I don't know if those are worrisome or what. A bunch of them have those wear spots on the sides. But I mean, that one looks really bad. But on this one right here, like that's a big gouge right there. I think this exhaust one should be fine because all the rockers stayed on this from the money shift. Whereas on the intake one, all of the rockers popped off. I think that's where most of the damage came from. Yeah, the exhaust can looks really good actually. Okay, so I just posted a few videos on Facebook to try to get some more feedback on this, and people are basically saying that they wouldn't recommend installing these. At least they wouldn't recommend installing these before either getting that grinded down or measuring it to make sure everything is still within spec. And the more and more I look at this, the more I'm finding more rough spots. I'm just afraid that I'm going to run this and then the rocker arm's going to wear, and then what I'll do is I'll just install the new cams right now, even though it's not really what I initially wanted to do, but I didn't realize the condition that these are in. Now I'm going to have to figure out how to get the cam sprocket and the cam adjuster off of the stock exhaust cam. Right here is the stock exhaust cam. And this cam looks great. Like everything looks great on this one. But I need to swap over this cam adjuster from this one onto the new one, and this sprocket from this one onto the new one.